Stock market crash, housing crash, and Great Depression in 2024. Nope. Janet Yellen says soft landing. Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video with your friends. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. You can find plenty of videos on YouTube with people predicting a stock market crash, a housing crash, or the next Great Depression in 2024. Janet Yellen believes a soft landing is in the cards. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by Bloomberg and written by Christopher Condon titled, Yellen declares U.S. economy has achieved soft landing. According to the author, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen declared Friday the U.S. economy had achieved a long-sought soft landing, a historically unusual event in which high inflation is tamed without significantly damaging the labor market. The author went on to quote Janet Yellen as saying, "What we're seeing now, I think we can describe as a soft landing, and my hope is that it will continue." Here are my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad she said, "My hope is that it will continue." Maybe Janet Yellen should reflect on history for a moment. The inverted yield curve may be predicting a recession. When the 10-year falls below the 2-year, it has predicted every recession since 1955, with the exception of 1966. Maybe we will avoid a recession and the soft landing will continue, but I personally doubt it. Back in 2007, Federal Reserve Chair Ben Bernanke thought the nation was on track for a soft landing, and then the great financial crisis hit in 2008. I'm going to reference an old article from February 15, 2007, put out by the New York Times and written by Edmund L. Andrews, titled, Fed Chairman Projects Soft Landing for U.S. Economy, Business International Herald Tribune. According to the author, Bernanke expressed a broad satisfaction that the nation remains on track for a soft landing, a modest slowdown in growth that would reduce upward pressure on prices without aggravating unemployment. The U.S. economy appears to be making a transition from the rapid rate of expansion experienced over the preceding several years to a more sustainable average price of growth. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Bernanke was way off. I have to wonder how far off Janet Yellen is with her comments. I mean, seriously, she says, what we're seeing now, I think, we can describe as a soft landing. When someone says, I think, I don't feel very assured. When I read Janet Yellen's comments today, I had a flashback to an event that took place on May 1st, 2003, aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. On that day, President George W. Bush declared major combat operations in Iraq have ended, and he stood in front of a big banner that said, Mission Accomplished. Well, in my opinion, the mission was far from being accomplished. In fact, the United States sent more troops to Iraq until the number of troops reached approximately 168,000 in 2007, which was approximately 4 years after his speech. The U.S. military still has a presence in Iraq in 2024. In fact, there was a Reuters article published on January 4th, 2024, written by Ahmed Rashid and Phil Stewart, titled, U.S. Strike Kills Militia Leader Blamed for Iraq Attacks, Pentagon Says. According to the authors, the United States has 2,500 troops in Iraq and 900 in neighboring Syria. Ladies and gentlemen, our tax dollars are still supporting a military presence in Iraq, and it's been over 20 years since George W. Bush gave his speech aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent here, but I hope you can see my point about Janet Yellen's most recent comments. I am just a bit skeptical. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Please share them in the comment section below. While Janet Yellen talks about a soft landing, all is not well in the state of California. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance put out by Bloomberg and written by Eliyahu Kamisher titled, CalStress Seeks to Borrow More Than $30 Billion to Manage Cash. According to the author, the California State Teachers Retirement System, the country's second largest pension fund, may borrow more than $30 billion to help it maintain liquidity without having to sell assets at fire sale prices, according to a new policy its investment committee will consider this month. If approved, the policy will allow staff to borrow as much as 10% of the roughly $318 billion portfolio. If approved, the policy will allow staff to borrow as much as 10% of the roughly $318 billion portfolio. The proposal calls for leverage to be used on a temporary basis to fulfill cash flow needs in circumstances when it is disadvantageous to sell assets. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wish them the best. I hope the California State Teachers Retirement System is successful with their endeavors moving forward so they can continue to pay benefits to all of the people who traded hours of their life for money at teaching jobs in that state. Teaching is a hard job, and all of those teachers deserve to continue receiving pension benefits uninterrupted. A pension is a benefit promised to teachers and one that is well deserved in my opinion. When I read the quote in this article that said leverage would be used on a temporary basis to fulfill cash flow needs in circumstances when it is disadvantageous to sell assets, it reminded me of a speech given by Richard Nixon back in 1971. He said, and I'll quote, "I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of the monetary stability and in the best interests of the United States." Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was approximately 53 years ago. Do you consider 53 years to be temporary? I certainly don't. I also don't believe we will ever go back to a gold standard. Fiat currency is here to stay until it eventually becomes worthless. All fiat currencies have eventually become worthless, going all the way back to the Roman Empire. I read some of the comments beneath this article, and I found some of them to be very interesting, so I'll share some of them with you. One commenter wrote, "Here it comes, hold on." Another commenter wrote, "Another slow motion train wreck in the making." The next commenter said, "Must be in it deep." The last comment that I'll share with you came from someone who said, "Do you know what this is called in a brokerage account? Margin. You know what comes with margin? A margin call." I'm curious, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Here's another interesting article relating to the state of California. This article was on yahoo.com, put out by Fox 2 KTVU, titled, "California Approves State Farm's Request to Increase Rates." According to the author, California's Department of Insurance approved an insurance rate hike for State Farm. Experts predict this rate hike is an average of 20% throughout the state. But that number could be higher or lower for individual policyholders. Well, my heart goes out to some homeowners and business owners who may be impacted by these insurance hikes. Some people right now are dealing with higher property taxes, higher costs to maintain their home, higher costs for food at the grocery store, higher costs for daycare, higher costs to maintain their vehicle, and now they have to worry about paying more for insurance. I worry about families who are barely hanging on right now. For families who have mortgages, their insurance is most likely in an escrow. Sometimes those escrow accounts are slow to adjust. In fact, you could see the escrow get nearly depleted, and the mortgage company may have to jack up the monthly mortgage payment to refund the escrow for a period of time. Some people could end up with a very large monthly mortgage payment for a period of time until the escrow is adequately funded, and then the mortgage payment could drop back down, but not back to the original level due to the increase in insurance. I don't think a lot of homeowners understand how this works, and some may be blindsided by higher mortgage payments during a time when they are already struggling with inflation. I worry this could possibly result in delinquencies or defaults in a worst-case scenario. On the topic of worst-case scenarios, some people reach a point in their life where they feel as though they have no other option other than suicide. This is truly tragic. If anyone reaches a point in their life where they feel this way, they should seek professional help. I read an article today on yahoo.com, put out by KRON and written by the Associated Press, titled, "It Took Decades, but San Francisco finally installs nets to stop suicides off Golden Gate Bridge. According to the author, officials announced that crews have installed stainless steel nets on both sides of the 1.7-mile bridge. Nearly 2,000 people have plunged to their deaths since the bridge opened in 1937. The author of this article referenced Dennis Mulligan, general manager of the Golden Gate Bridge Highway and Transportation District. He said, "It's stainless steel wire rope netting, so it's like jumping into a cheese grater. It's not soft, it's not rubber, it doesn't stretch. We want folks to know that if you come here, it will hurt if you jump." Well, I can imagine that would hurt, and I imagine you could still be injured or killed depending on how you landed. I hope these nets do discourage people from trying to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge to commit suicide. Dennis Mulligan said that members of a bridge patrol work to spot people considering suicide and prevent them from jumping. Last year, they dissuaded 149 people from jumping. Well, I'm glad they are on the job and doing their best to save lives in California. Human life is precious, and some people don't realize how good they have it. I'm going to share with you the craziest story that I read today, which was on USA Today and written by Doc Llewellyn, titled, "Cecil the Dog Ate Through $4,000 in Cash. Here's how his Pittsburgh owners got the money back." A family had $4,000 in cash on the kitchen table that they had just withdrawn from the bank. Their dog, Cecil, decided to eat half the money and rip up the other half. At around 2 a.m., the dog started to vomit up money, and the family observed $100 bills coming out. During the next 3 days, the rest of the money worked its way through the dog's digestive tract. One of the family members picked up the dog's excrement and picked out the money, washed it off, and then tried to tape it back together. This family was able to recover about $3,500 of the original $4,000. Well, ladies and gentlemen, be careful what you do with your cash. You never know what a dog is going to do, and you never know if and when your money could be stolen. I've had money stolen from me before, and it is very unnerving. Even if you have a safe in your house, there are no guarantees. A criminal could find a way to steal the safe with your money inside. If you hide your money in your house, you could still lose it to a fire or some other type of natural disaster. Be careful with any cash that you have, and also keep in mind that cash just sitting around is losing its purchasing power. I personally keep my cash in short duration U.S. Treasuries, which are paying over 5%. This isn't financial advice. I'm just telling you what I do with my cash. U.S. Treasuries are often regarded as one of the safest investments in the world. There is also no state tax on the interest earned from U.S. Treasuries, which in my opinion makes them superior to a CD or money market. I'm curious, has your dog ever eaten something that he or she wasn't supposed to eat? If so, tell me about it in the comments section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.